Peace. Divine Education Law. Soul Controller Divine represent the home of Fire Conscious Care. This live here is a little bit of an exploration of what it is to press up some stuff in my kitchen. Technically not a real kitchen, my bedroom, but I whip up the fire conscious gear, so this is the kitchen. I build all y'all having a great start of y'all day on this equality day, and allow you personal God mark. My first real live here on TikTok. So just sit back and enjoy. One of the first things you want to do, line up your shirt. Second thing you want to do, after you line your shirt up, you want to press down on your shirt for a few seconds to draw the moisture out of the shirt. Just because the shirt looks and feels dry, there's moisture in the shirt because air is made of what? Hydrogen and iron. While you're at it, test your pressure while you're at it. Another key component, time and temperature. For a transfer utilizing Plastisol ink, most times I utilize 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 7 seconds. That's all it takes for this transfer to be placed on that shirt with the right temperature and the right pressure. Wait for the temperature to rise to 325 degrees. We right it now at 312. Give it a few more minutes and we'll be ready to put the transfer on the shirt. While we wait, we're going to line and transfer up so we have it placed in the proper position where we want it. Now if you paid attention, neck part of the shirt is up here. The bottom of the neck is at the top of my back. 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Top, bottom of that neck hole. That's where your top of your transfer should be. Not just the paper, but the ink. The beginning line at the top of the actual transfer. So the print should be at the bottom of your 4 fingers. You also guide the sides as you get your sides here to make sure it's even. Guide the sides here. There are tools you can use to do the guiding for you where you don't have to eye it. These are called t-shirt guides. They have different ones. This is adult. So this is for all adult size shirts from small to as large as you can fit it on the planet. Those have youth, they have toddler as well. I've been doing this for a minute, so I don't really utilize those like I used to when I did in the beginning. Now, our press has finally reached 325 degrees, so now we're ready to press. 7 seconds. All it's going to take. Most people let it go beep to let you know that it's ready to be raised. I don't do that. I do the countdown and I have the countdown counter on it. One smooth motion, corner. All the way across. This is right to left. That curve. Now, you would think it's finished. Still have one more step left. The most important step after getting it onto the shirt, everything look good, you want to do what's called a post press. There's 3 presses you do when you're doing the shirt, hoodie, hat, whatever it is that you're doing. First press is the pre-press. That's to get the moisture out the shirt. Even though it might feel dry, when you press that heat down on that shirt, you're going to see steam rise. It's going to show you how much moisture is in the air. The more humid it is, the more moisture you're going to have in the material. Second press is the press where you put the transfer onto the shirt, hat, hoodie, whatever it is that you're pressing on. The third press is where we at now, the post press. The post press is what's going to seal the deal. It's going to put this ink into the fibers of this shirt, therefore it becomes part of the shirt. When you press in shirts, hoodies, hats, jackets, whatever, proper heat, pressure, and time will have your design lasting longer than the actual garment itself. Let's do the second press, the third press now. That same 7 seconds. That's just to let you know what it sounds like when you're ready. Here, the finished product. I have a little bit here. A little scratching, touching the corners, nothing peeling up, nothing separated. Has good stretch, and the transfer has good stretch, good bounce back. This is ready to be purchased and worn. This is ready to be purchased and worn right now. You can copy yours on Divine Graphics Inc. www.divinegraphicsinc.com. Right here. This or any other shirt that I got. Appreciate you, Exotic. First one on the live, huh? This is my first real live. It's the first for both of us. let's do another one. 325 degrees is the temperature that we're going for. The press is already there. It's actually 2 degrees hotter than it's set. Go for 7 seconds as a count. Now, this is a Teflon sheet. It's a Teflon cover that goes over the top plate. So I don't have to keep putting a Teflon sheet or parchment paper or something on top of whatever I'm pressing to protect it from the heat of the actual press. This fits over the press, it's nice and tight, no problem. The funny thing is, this was sold to me as the bottom plate cover. Put this on the bottom, sure it's tight. The one that was made for the top. Fits too loose. So, what I did, the Teflon sheets that I used to use to cover the shirt or hoodie, whatever, before I press down, I used that for the bottom. That's a rubber bottom, and metal plastic. This gets hot. Just because this is the heat, this gets hot because this gets pressed on the heat. Metal holds heat. Yeah. You got your protective Teflon sheet. Gotta keep the adhesive from either the ink or if you got DTF prints or any other material that you use. Won't mess up your press by getting melted and stuck onto the bottom part of the top plate. Save yourself a lot of hard work. Scraping these, it's ugly work. Alright, so let's do another one. Another shirt. Now, personally, I tend to want to use 100% cotton. More breathable, longer lasting, more natural. But there are other techniques, such as sublimation, where cotton does not work for sublimation. So for sublimation, you would want 100% polyester or a polyester cotton blend, as long as there's more polyester versus the cotton. You do like a 70-30 or 60-40 blend, you can get away with sublimation. So, let's show you the technique again. This is the top of the shirt. Here's the head hole. It's your neckline. Right? This leading edge here on the bottom of the neckline, that's going to be at the edge or the top of the platen, or the bottom if you do it upside down. Especially if you have a threadable platen on the bottom, you do the press upside down. That's in another lesson when I get that press. It should be here by the end of the month. Anyway, that neckline, the bottom neckline, that's where you're going to do your measuring from the 4 fingers. That is the universally approved positioning on the shirt. Works well for men, works well for women, especially the breasts. Keeps everything on top. It's not getting stuck down here, it's not getting cuffed up under if you're a woman, things of that nature. 4 fingers. Perfect length. Some people go 3. I tend to go 4. Now, let's set it up on the plate. Top of the plate. I always go with the neck spot where I'm going to have it at the edge, I line it up with the middle post right here. This is technically the center of the plaque right here. Don't, whatever you do, rely on that line that comes down your shirt from it being folded as the true center line. That usually doesn't last. That's usually not right. Also, don't go by where the tag is placed either, because this could be off as well. Now, place our shirt on the plaque. Go ahead and shake it. Right underneath the arm. The seams join there on both sides. You don't have to tuck it. Just hold it down. The side of the press. It should feel even on both sides. This side should feel like it's at the same level on that side. A good way to test your straightness is actually up the shirt. One way is look at the bottom of the shirt. Bottom of the shirt straight. Also, another way you can do it, you take the shirt, fold it in, go by that bottom piece that I told you, line it evenly with the other side, the other sleeve, press it down as it's a half a shirt, and that will be your guiding line as far as going straight up and down off the side. Now you can also do what I have, which I don't use for this, because I don't have anywhere to really sit it, is a cross-eye laser. If I had a proper spot to sit it at, it would line up properly, divide the shirt into 4 quarters. Building that when I get the new press, I'll have a provision where I can get that set up and it's not in the way, things of that nature. So, we got our shirt in the press, our press is at temperature, it's ready to go. So what do we do first now that we got everything straight? Post press, pull that moisture about the shirt. And at the same time, you get to test your pressure. You have to loosen it up so I can press it down. Now, on your press, you probably won't have to hold it down. But mine, it automatically rebound up because I messed around with the settings on it, trying to fix this bar. Didn't work out, but I lost the settings of where it is so it actually locks down. So I hold this one down. Yours, if you have it at home, you don't have to do that. Once you set it down and it locks, let it go and wait for everything to finish on its own. And if you're fortunate enough to have an auto opening, you ain't even got to open the press back up. It's going to automatically open up for you. That's going to be one thing I'm going to get on my new press. So, we got the moisture about our shirt. Shirt is flat, nice and even, clean. Let's go with transfer number 2. 4 fingers down. Line it up. Using the side of the paper. So got 2.5 fingers on this side, 2.5 fingers on this side. So that's even. It should fall in the center of the shirt. Leave space on both sides here. So let's go. 7 seconds. Lastisol transfers that are done on screen printing. These will be able, as soon as you pull that platen off the top, peel it right on. You always go from the corner and try to stay low, especially if you're doing DTF. Try to stay low to the platen coming across. With this, I can just pull it straight off because I know my pressure is good, my heat is good, and everything, the timing is good. So I don't have to worry. I know I just pull this right off, it's gonna come off, leaving what's left over. Now, if you don't have your pressure right, when you do the pull, you might pull up letters. Why? Because it's not enough pressure sealing it into the fabric of the shirt. Or, if your temperature is not high enough, or if your sitting time is not long or short enough, long enough really, you don't have enough time on the clock. Say this thing needed 10 seconds at 3:25. I only have it set at 7. At the proper temperature, the wrong timing, these letters could easily come up when I peel the paper back. So you want your temperature, your pressure, and your time to be correct. Your temperature and your time you'll get when you get your transfers. They usually come with instructions that you know these need to be pressed at this temperature for this time. And sometimes the company's great enough, they'll tell you what pressure to use. Now, in testing, they're using commercial machines, nothing like you'll have at home. So their settings will be totally different. A lot of companies, what they do, if you go on their website and search the instruction on how to utilize their transfers and things of that nature, it'll give you a listing of certain machines that are well known in the industry, what the temperature settings are, what the pressure settings are, what the time settings are, things of that nature. So, you want to pay attention to that. That is the key to you having a print that stays on your shirt, and you can do this all day. It's not going to pull up. When you do your press as well, after it's done, some people want to do what we call a wash test. That's to see if the design can withstand a cycle of the wash. You're technically supposed to wait 24 hours after you've done the initial press before you wash. Why? If you're doing screen print, it's ink. Ink has to cure, especially after you put heat on it and transfer it from one medium to another. So 24 hours is the cure time. DTF or vinyl, those things are having to be cured as well. Anything that you press and put on with heat, you have to let it sit before you decide, I'm going to throw this in some water and agitate the hell out of it to see if it's going to stay on. Early on in my profession, when I used to do mostly vinyl transfers, people would buy from me and they would complain, even from the mailing process, oh, the letter fell off. Or I wore it outside and it started peeling, it started bubbling up. Or I put it in a wash after I wore it. And what happened? The letters came off. Now, it's not a total loss because you can repair that. But the key is, had I had the temperature, the pressure, the timing, everything right, none of that would have never happened. But that was a learning experience for me. So it made me better as I went along. Let's do our post check. 30. The post pressure, you don't have to worry about being straight enough. You just want to seal the deal. You usually do this post press the same amount of time it took you to actually press the transport. You have it. shirt. No letters peeling. Smooth to the touch. Feels like it's part of the shirt. But you can tell it's a transfer because it doesn't feel like that. It feels like a rubbery, melted plastic kind of, but it's flat. There's no indentation to where it's standing outside of the shirt. It's part of the shirt. It's embedded in the shirt. That's why the post press is most important. Without that, it's easy for this to come off at any given time. Now that was using what's called Plastisol ink, what most people know as being screen printing. So screen printing is when you burn the screen with the design, go over with ink, spread the ink on the thing, pull it down, pull the screen up, just that image comes up like that. The difference with screen print as far as the making of the design as opposed to, say, sublimation or DTF. Sublimation DTF are multicolored. Everything is done one shot. It's on there. It's on the transfer material. Once you put that heat down and that pressure on it, that transfer material is going to take that ink, put it onto the material that you're pressing on, and it's there. It's done right, it's there forever. Now there's differences as well as also, like I said earlier, sublimation. You need to have at least a 70-30, 60-40 polyester cotton blend. Most preferably, the best work that you're going to get out of a sublimation is 100% polyester. Doesn't work on cotton. You cannot sublimate on a cotton shirt. You can, however, get you some glitter vinyl, like white glitter. Cut it out. If you have a vinyl cutter, have it cut to the dimensions of the design. So if I had this in sublimation, I would have a vinyl version of this, just a hair tad larger, so I would know where to place this at. Press that on the shirt first. Then I would take this transfer and press it on top of that. This would be part of the vinyl, and the vinyl would be adhered to the shirt. This technically wouldn't be, because it's not going to stay on 100% cotton. It needs polyester. So, let's do a DTF. This is screen print. Let's do a DTF. Now, for this one, we're going to have to change our temperature. Let's line up our shirt first. Two shirts I did prior, those were extra large. This is the medium. Same rules apply. Still lining up the same way. Check to make sure it's even on both sides, top and bottom, whatever. Older DTF transfers. This is from my man Mike at Transfer Time. He used to be out in the desert, Queens. And he got himself a space in Midtown Manhattan. Check him out, Transfer Time. I believe he's on 30. between 34th and 37th Street. Between, I believe, 6th and 7th Avenue or 7th and 8th Avenue. Somewhere like that. But just look it up. Transfer Time. Midtown Manhattan. Time with T-Y-M-E. So, this is how this looks. This is either sublimation or DTF. Comes on a clear carrier sheet. So you can see through it. You can see exactly where you're pressing it at, where your placement is at. It's a lot easier than the screen print, because screen print is on the paper. So there's no see-through. So if you have something where you don't have any sufficient light, you can't see the design. Once you lay it down on the shirt, it makes it difficult. That's why the lining up process is real important. But DTF and sublimation comes on a clear carrier sheet. This is the sheet. So even if you print these yourself at home, if you have a printer for it, you have the carrier sheet, you can cut them all out, place them on your carrier sheet, store them away in a nice, cold, cool, dry spot, especially a dark spot. And when you're ready to use it, just pull it out and use it. So I can put it back on there if I don't want to use one, use something else. Doesn't make a difference. All right, now let's set up our stuff. Good. Straight here. On both sides. You also go by the sleeve part here, where the sleeve joins the torso of the shirt. That line as well. When you get to the edge of the shirt, you'll have space between here and wherever the plait sits and the shirt folds down like that. That gap, you can also use that as measurement on both sides to see if your shirt is aligned straight and even on the plait. Thing I didn't do, I didn't set my time and temperature. Now, DTFs, sublimation prints, they usually press around the same range. Most companies gonna have their own temperature guidelines, but I kind of utilize the same for all of them because it works and it's pretty much the same technique anyway. So you're gonna bring it down in temperature to 310. And we're going to increase the time to 15 seconds instead of 7. It takes a little more time. You don't want to scorch your materials. That's why the temperature is brought down, but the time increases. Different materials, use different techniques, temperatures, things like that. Let's place our design on the shirt that we want. 4 fingers, top of my design. This part you're going to have to get used to it as well. Like I said, that's a clear transfer sheet. This is the carrier that it comes on. It's adhesive sticky, so it's going to stick to whatever you place it on. So when you're trying to get yourself settled up as far as straightening it out and right positioning, just know that you're going to have to, don't put pressure on it until you're sure that's the exact spot you want to put it at, because you may have to go up and down and move and situate it. You don't want to move the shirt around because now you got to rearrange that to get that right again. It's set where I want it. About ready to get this press going. So, like I said, I had to change the temperature from the previous transfer, which was green print ink, plastisol. That gets pressed down at 325 degrees for 7 seconds. This is pressed at 310 degrees for 15 seconds. And depending on the company and their technique of making the DTF, it's not a hot peel. So it's known as a cool or cold peel. Watch. This is something else you have to watch. I went from 325 down to 310. The press in its decline to cool down to the next temperature may sometimes go lower than the temperature you're trying to get. Here's the trick that I use. Now, you notice that once it's beep, that means that it's active. It's going to do the countdown, temperature-wise as well as time-wise. But I didn't leave it for the full 15 seconds, just enough for it to activate. When I pull it back up, now the temperature is going to climb to the designated temperature that I need it to be so I can do the proper press. And at the same time, I got it tacked down. This is going to be, I'm not going to move it. As soon as the press is ready, we're going to slap it down and get cracked. Seconds. Over the press, of course you're not having to hold it down. Like I have to hold this. Now, this particular set of transfers are known as cold peel transfers. So, cold peel means you can't just rip the transfer sheet off to reveal a transfer. Why? It has to set into the material. So that's a cold peel. All warm peel depends on the brand and the company and their proprietary, you know what I'm saying, techniques and ingredients. So, sit here, wait a minute or two, let it cool down. So, now remember I told you, The black gets hot because it just has to sit on it. But the heat is rising. Thus, being the heat that rises off of here, technically it's going to cool down. Now, what you can do, if you have a fan blowing, or in the summertime you got the AC on, you take your shirt, sit it in front of the cold air. That'll speed up the process of cooling it down. Okay. Let's peel. From corner to corner. We'll start with the bottom this time. Now, here's a trick that you can use if you print. If you already have some, you got the carrier, you got the sheet. If you have your own printer, you can print your own transfers like that, BTF or whatever. Reuse the carrier sheet, because all the ink over here is onto the shirt. There ain't nothing on here but my fingerprints and adhesive. You can go back, place your transfer on the adhesive, put it back on the carrier sheet. Reuse if possible. I don't have a printer for that, so I don't need it. Okay. Well, got our post press. But this is where I differ from some people. They have a product now called Magic Seal to spray on to the transfer to seal it in, and it's supposed to actually make the transfer softer, more pliable, better hand feel on it than just doing it. I just did the post press right now. On certain things I've worked on, I've noticed the feel. A lot of things it hasn't really changed much, but I can tell it is more pliable. So that's what I'm about to do now before I do this post press. You could do it on screen print like the previous two I did earlier, but I said not to. Post press is the same amount of time it did for you to press it. On this shirt, stretchability goes with the shirt. It does what the shirt does. No corners, filling up. Look at that. No flaking, cracking. Now, yes, it does have a rubbery plastic feel to it. So when you're utilizing your transfers, putting them on the shirts, if you have large images that you want to put on a shirt, something like this, you want to use what they call blackout spaces, open spaces, gaps. Like I have a transfer, this particular transfer, with Tim's on, Yankee hat, and the sunglasses, but the lenses are out. So the lens will match any color shirt that is pressed on. Everything else will stay the same, but the lenses will match because these are cut out on the other one. And you can do that with a large design, especially if you have a large design with a lot of black on it. You want to remove that and leave the gaps in between. That one helps the shirt to breathe. Because you have the holes where the material is already out. So you're not sitting with 11 by 11 piece of plastic on you in a hot scorching sun, melting away because it's no breathing room. There's no room for you to breathe to get air through the shirt. See, this is a good transfer because there's lots of room. Transfer zone in the middle of the shirt, so it's not all over my whole torso to where if I wore this outside, I'd be dying of heat because there's no air coming through here. One more. This is a 15 by 15 heat press. Most people that's going to use a heat press to do t-shirts and stuff, you will want either a 15 by 15, or if you want to go a step bigger, if you have larger transfers, you can do a 16 by 20. Not necessary. Most transfers don't go past 15 inches, let alone 11. 11 inches on a shirt is quite big. Unless you're doing sublimation using the all-over technique, which it just goes all over the whole entire shirt, the press, the print, everything. And that's two-sided. You do just one side. Smart, you're going to do both sides, front and back. It's going to take everything. It's going to have ink, but it's so into the material, you don't feel it. It feels like the material that you got it. That's one of the great things about something. Now another thing. Let's do that. The last shirt was a medium. The ones prior that was extra large. This one, if you can see it, I don't know if y'all can see that. It's amazing how technology focuses on everything and not what you're trying to show. But anyway, this is a 2X t-shirt. It's a lot of material. But it's the same process. Nothing changes. Still have to line it up. Still have to set it. Still got to do a pre-press. Process is still the same. Doesn't matter what size shirt you wear, what size press you have, what designs you have, what type of materials used, whether DTF, silk screen print, whatever. The process is the same. That doesn't change. back, it's going to be kind of texture. The front is going to be smooth because it's on film. It's on a plastic film. But the back is textured because they have what's called DTF powder. This powder is what's going to adhere this transfer onto the shirt. That's what melts into it and gives it that seal. 4 fingers. Temperature and pressure has to be correct. 310, 15 seconds. Yeah. Being it's not an immediate hot peel, we have to sit and let it cool down before we peel it off. I could walk it over to my air conditioned sit in front, but I don't feel like going through all of that and press it back down again. So we just let it cool off for a minute. We start from a corner. One smooth motion. That's Magic Seal. You don't have to use it. I just use it. I like it. It's sexy thing. As far as softening things up. Post press. Same 15 seconds until you press the actual transfer on. Do the same time with post press. Same temperature and all. Corners peeling. Come on, nigga. Ain't going nowhere. Now, after you press up, or say after I press up, you go on my website, www.divinegraphicsinc.com. He purchased a shirt. I like what he's been doing. The live was informative. I think I'm going to support the brother. You go on the website, purchase a shirt, hoodie, hat, whatever the case is. You got the shirt or hoodie. When it's time for you to wash your shirt or hoodie, here's the best way to keep everything the way it was when you received it. And I do this with everything. My stuff I buy from other people, stuff you get out the store. Anything that has a print on it, a graphic print, this is how you wash it. Always wash them inside out. Meaning, just throw this in the wash. After 24 hours of it being pressed, of course. But if I want to save this and make it last longer than the actual garment itself, I'm going to turn it inside out. Why? Think about it. When you wash your clothes, how does a washer work? It agitates the water and the clothing inside, right? Right. So if you have a home washer, you have the pole sticking out the middle of it with the fins on the sides. That agitates because those washers don't usually go completely circle in a wash. They go like this. It's like they shake things up. And everything in there gets agitated, moved around, da da da. So you have the inside out. It'll help you greatly. Alright, we only got less than 5 minutes left, so I had all y'all that joined. Yeah, like I was saying, so you want to turn the shirt, even if it's on pants, shorts, whatever, inside out. Put it on the machine, wash normally, but in cold water. If you want to do all your graphic stuff separate than your regular everyday clothes with nothing on them, that's fine too. There's certain things you do want to wash in hot or warm water. I get it. Graphic tees and things of that nature, hoodies, you're gonna wash those in cold water. Anything that has a design on it, you need to wash in cold water. That preserves the design, keeps it from cracking and things of that nature, from the heat of the water. When you finish washing, it's time for you to dry. Take the stuff out the dryer, get you a hanger, hang it up. Let it hang dry in the air. You have a house, you got a backyard, hang it outside on the line. You know what I'm saying? In the crib, like me, or in the projects, get you a hanger, put it in the shower rack. Just got the old project situation with the actual rack that you pull down with the string. This would be a good time to use that. But hang your shirts, the pants, whatever you have. You can still hang them up inside out, you can hang them up right side out. Doesn't make a difference. But hang dry. Do not put in the dryer. I don't care if you put it in low or medium, definitely not high. Don't put it in the dryer because the heat is going to activate the ink inside. You put it on with heat. The last thing you want to do is to come off because of heat. So don't dry it. Air dry it. That'll save your clothes as well. Even if you don't have graphic stuff on, you got a plain t-shirt, air dry it. Or air dry is always better than putting it in a hot air dryer anyway. But you can air dry it and that'll dry your shirt out. Now, your shirt comes back out, cool, it's washed, shirt is clean, your design is perfect, looks like it's untouched, it looks like the same day you received it in the mail or whatever, and you wore it. Still as fresh as ever. Right? Cool. Be good on that. Now, you see the bottom of the shirt? The bottom is wrinkly. Now, I'm pretty much a wash and wear kind of guy. But I know people, and I've used to obsess over this when I was younger, ironing everything. So if you can't go outside with this because it's wrinkled, here's what you do. You can either take the garment, pants, shirt, hoodie, whatever, flip it inside out like you washed it, and iron it from there. You want to use a dry iron. You don't want to use a steam iron, a dry iron. And iron the shirt out. If you want to iron it on the right side, because say a pair of pants, you want to keep the crease in the pants. You got some multiple options. Get you some parchment paper, get you some Teflon paper, Teflon sheet, or you use a plain, unmarked brown paper bag. Place that over the shirt or pants, definitely over the design. Dry heat only, no steam. Iron is regular. Be careful when you get over the design. You don't want to get too much heat on it because you don't want to activate those materials and chemicals inside that's going to make it work out. Removing, okay, we can replace this. Put too much heat on it, it's going to peel up. You want to do just enough, just so you can get your iron on, iron everything smooth. That's it. And enjoy it. So, that pretty much is the key to pressing up your own shirt. If you watched the whole live, I appreciate you. I'm thankful. And hopefully, willfully, you got something out of this. You know what I'm saying? If you already do your own stuff and you're just starting out, you can use this as a tutorial if you want. I actually do have a PDF that I can sell you. And it gives you everything from the different types of machinery, everything that you need, vinyl cutters, whatever. It gives you the whole kit and caboodle on basically starting your own t-shirt business. You know what I'm saying? Inbox me for that. I'll give you information on that one. But on that note, I want to say peace to all the human families of the planet Earth, civilized as well as the uncivilized. Peace to my universal nation, Allah's 5%. Until next time, remember, it's up to you to make anything that you want happen, happen. Peace.